Respect, a long story in two parts. Part 1, the beginning of respect. In a small town called Sunnyvale lived a boy named Tom. Tom was 12 years old and loved playing soccer. He had many friends at school, and he was always happy and cheerful. But Tom had a problem. He did not understand the importance of respect. Tom's school was big, with many students and teachers. His favorite teacher was Miss Smith. She was kind and always helped the students. One day, Miss Smith told the class, "Today, we will talk about respect." Respect means showing care and understanding for other people's feelings, rights, and traditions. Tom listened, but did not think it was important. He thought respect was just a word and didn't understand how it could change his life. After school, Tom went to the soccer field to practice. He saw an old man sitting on a bench, watching the children play. The old man's name was Mr. Brown. He was very old and wise. He had lived in Sunnyvale for many years and knew everyone in the town. The children often saw him, but never talked to him. Tom thought, "Why is that old man always here? He doesn't play soccer. He just sits and watches." Tom went to Mr. Brown and said, "Hey, old man, why do you come here every day? Don't you have anything better to do?" Mr. Brown smiled and said, "I come here to enjoy the fresh air and watch you children play. It reminds me of my younger days." Tom laughed and said, "That's boring. You should go home and watch TV." Mr. Brown did not get angry. He just smiled and said, "One day you will understand the joy of simple things." Tom did not understand and ran back to his friends. He continued playing and forgot about the old man. The next day at school, Miss Smith asked the students to share a story about respect. Tom didn't know what to say. He had never thought about respect before. When it was his turn, he stood up and said, "I don't know much about respect. I think it's just a word." Miss Smith looked at Tom and said, "Tom, respect is not just a word. It's how we treat other people. It's important to understand and show respect to everyone, no matter who they are." Tom felt a little embarrassed, but still didn't understand. After school, he went to the soccer field again. This time, he saw Mr. Brown talking to a little girl who was crying. The girl had fallen and hurt her knee. Mr. Brown was helping her and talking to her gently. Tom watched and thought, maybe the old man is not so boring after all. The next few days, Tom started to notice more about Mr. Brown. He saw how Mr. Brown always smiled at people, how he helped the children, and how he was always kind. Tom began to feel something he had never felt before, a sense of respect for the old man. One day, Tom's soccer ball went over the fence. He tried to climb over, but couldn't reach it. Mr. Brown saw Tom struggling and said, "Let me help you, Tom." Tom was surprised that Mr. Brown knew his name. "How do you know my name?" he asked. Mr. Brown smiled and said, "I know all the children here. I watch you play every day." Tom felt a warm feeling inside. "Thank you, Mr. Brown," he said. "I'm sorry I was rude to you before." Mr. Brown patted Tom on the shoulder and said, "It's okay, Tom. Everyone makes mistakes. The important thing is to learn from them." Tom realized that respect was more than just a word. It was about being kind, understanding, and caring for others. He felt grateful to Mr. Brown for showing him what respect meant. Tom started to change. He began to greet Mr. Brown every day and talk to him about soccer and school. He also started to respect his teachers and classmates more. He listened to them, helped them, and showed kindness. Tom's friends noticed the change and began to respect him more too. One day, Miss Smith asked the class, "Who can tell me what respect means now?" Tom raised his hand and said, "Respect means understanding and caring for other people. It means being kind and helping others. It's not just a word, it's how we treat each other." Miss Smith smiled and said, "Very good, Tom. I'm proud of you." Tom felt proud too. He had learned an important lesson about respect, and he wanted to share it with everyone. To be continued in part 2. Respect, a long story in 2 parts. Part 2, the journey of respect. Weeks passed, and summer was approaching. Sunnyvale was getting ready for the annual summer fair. The fair was a big event with games, food, and fun activities for everyone. Tom was excited. He had signed up to help set up the fair with his friends. One sunny morning, Tom and his friends met at the park where the fair would take place. They were given different tasks. Tom's job was to help Mr. Green, the town's carpenter, build the game booths. Mr. Green was known for his excellent carpentry skills and had a reputation for being strict. Tom walked over to Mr. Green and said, "Hi, Mr. Green. I'm here to help." Mr. Green nodded and said, "Good. We have a lot to do. Follow my instructions carefully." Tom worked hard all day, carrying wood, hammering nails, and painting the booths. Mr. Green was strict but fair. He taught Tom how to use tools safely and praised him when he did a good job. Tom realized that respect also meant listening and learning from others, even if they were strict. By the end of the day, Tom was tired but happy. The booths looked great, and he had learned a lot from Mr. Green. He thanked Mr. Green for teaching him and helping him understand the value of hard work and respect. The day of the summer fair arrived. The park was filled with people. There were colorful booths, delicious food, and exciting games. Tom's parents and younger sister, Lily, came to the fair. Lily was very excited and wanted to try all the games. As they walked around, Tom saw Mr. Brown sitting on a bench, watching the fair. Tom ran over and said, "Hi, Mr. Brown. Are you enjoying the fair?" Mr. Brown smiled and said, "Yes, Tom, it's wonderful to see everyone having fun." Tom invited Mr. Brown to join them, and they all walked around the fair together. Tom introduced Mr. Brown to his family and friends. Everyone was happy to meet him. Lily wanted to play a game where you had to throw a ball and knock down cans. She tried but couldn't knock down all the cans. She looked sad. Tom knelt down and said, "It's okay, Lily. You did your best. Let's try again together." Tom and Lily tried again, and this time they knocked down all the cans. Lily was thrilled and hugged Tom. Mr. Brown watched and smiled. He saw how Tom had grown and learned to respect and care for others. In the afternoon, there was a talent show. Tom's friend, Sarah, was going to sing a song. She was very nervous and afraid to go on stage. Tom remembered how Miss Smith had taught them about respect and how Mr. Brown had shown him kindness. He went to Sarah and said, "You can do it, Sarah. We all believe in you. Just sing from your heart." Sarah felt better and went on stage. She sang beautifully, and everyone clapped and cheered. After the show, Sarah thanked Tom for his support. Tom realized that respect also meant encouraging and supporting others. As the sun began to set, the fair was winding down. Tom and his family sat on a picnic blanket, enjoying the last moments of the day. Tom looked around and saw how happy everyone was. He felt proud of the part he played in making the fair a success. Mr. Brown came over and sat with them. He said, "Tom, you have learned a lot about respect. I'm very proud of you. Remember, respect is something you give and receive. It makes the world a better place." Tom nodded and said, "Thank you, Mr. Brown. I've learned so much from you." Mr. Brown smiled and said, "I've learned from you too. Tom, you've shown me that young people can understand and practice respect." Tom felt a deep sense of happiness. He had learned that respect was more than just a word. It was a way of living, a way of treating others with kindness and understanding. He promised himself to always remember the lessons he had learned from Mr. Brown, Miss Smith, and everyone who had helped him. The summer fair ended, but the lessons about respect stayed with Tom. He continued to show respect to his family, friends, teachers, and everyone he met. He became a role model for other children in Sunnyvale. People noticed the change in Tom and admired him for his kindness and respect. Years passed, and Tom grew up. He never forgot the important lessons he had learned in Sunnyvale. He always remembered Mr. Brown's words and tried to live by them. Tom became a teacher and taught his students about respect, just like Miss Smith had taught him. Tom knew that respect was a lifelong journey. It was about understanding, kindness, and care. It was about making the world a better place, one act of respect at a time. And he was proud to be part of that journey. And so, the story of Tom and his journey of respect continues. It's a story that teaches us all that respect is not just a word, but a way of life. It's a story that reminds us to be kind, to understand, and to care for each other. For in the end, Respect is what makes us truly human.